Should I just go down there?
Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it, and my whole family. It's got to be hard. They've been putting up with me sharing our dirty laundry, like, I'm 40, I'll be 45 in May, so for 45 years. So this is we'll have a little question and answer if you have any questions you want to ask. This is all part of my thesis exploration, and I have people here, my closest friends from New York, my cohort and dear friend Kylie from grad school. I just have people from every different sector of my life. My yoga family is all spread out. My convention family that are here, and then my literal family is here. So if you have any questions, and then they're setting up, we have Prosecco and some cheese for everyone. Questions, comments, concerns?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I've met Anthony once. Was Anthony your partner, Anthony?
Anthony, yes.
Performing is you?
Yes.
What is?
That's Anthony, yeah.
Thanks, I don't know what yours is. My question is, how was that working? Because you are partners, yeah?
It was the whole process. Nothing could have prepared me for this, honestly, because when I was writing it, it was torture. Obviously, I was reading a ton on sibling loss. There isn't a lot out there on sibling loss. Ironically enough, it's the place where it goes undiagnosed, and basically, because the death of a parent is something that everyone will experience, and it's horrible, and everyone experiences the death of a sibling too at some point, but it just happens much later usually. But so there just hasn't been enough research on it. They can't, because in order to. So anyway, the long and the short of it was the writing process was, I thought, really cathartic but also challenging. And so then I thought, okay, I'm through the hard part. I love rehearsing. My favorite part of theater is the rehearsal process and blocking, and I love blocking, and I choreograph everything. So I love that part of it. So I thought, this is gonna be so fun. And the first night it was so not fun. It hurt so bad. And I was like, I won't use the F word because my parents don't like it. And I'm sorry that it was in the play so much, but it's life. But it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad, Libby. And what really hurt was that Anthony and Angela, who played my sister so well, there couldn't be anyone else that could play her, because Shiree was very hard, and there were so many levels and layers. And so when I watched him do the first scene, I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through this. Yeah. He nailed it, because he knows me. So when you live with someone, you know their mannerisms, you don't ever, he knew too much. And I was like, okay, hold on. But he got the best compliment last night by someone who knows both of us well, and they said that he was the perfect blend of his own actor, but he found the nuance of, me, I always talk with my hands, and so it was very interesting.
Yeah, you did really well.
Thank you. Yeah, the thing that was, the whole point of this was to experience something from my sister's point of view, which I have, and every day that we came in here, I had to see it from her point of view. And I'm so mad I didn't see it from her point of view when she was alive. Yeah.
Do you have it now?
What's that?
You have it now.
I do.
And you get to share it.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
the beauty.
I know. It's a challenge. Yeah. I will be so happy when this process is over. Like Kylie, okay, so Kylie was there last summer, so we do residencies. And what was it, like week 3, Kylie? We were in somatic practice, which is already just one of those classes where you're dealing with a lot of feelings. And I just broke down, remember? And I thought, okay, well, it's gonna be over at some point, but it just hasn't been over yet. Yeah.
Did you do a lot of editing in terms of pacing once you got it on its feet?
Like,
Because
I didn't
a lot
take,
of movement.
no. And thanks to Charles, who, I mean, he did the lighting for this, and then there's so many cues, and he did it in one day, because they were doing Cardinio here, and so we were able to use the space throughout the rehearsal process, because Frederick and Charles were gracious to allow us to be in the space. How lucky is that? But so Charles lit everything and went. But no, honestly, from the time that my script was set, I guess. So I'm part of a program where you go through a CRP process, which is a critical response process, where everything kind of gets analyzed by 2 or 3 of your cohorts, and so you ask questions, and then these questions lead to other questions, etc. But very little changed in my script, and then when we got into rehearsal, I added 3 lines. That's it, and didn't take anything out. And so I had to change one scene. It just wasn't working, and it was no fault of the actors. It didn't move the way that it should have. But that was it. Yeah.
Is there a rubric? Is there like a list of cues or kinds of content that you needed to include in this project?
No.
So it's completely open to you to design it, develop it?
Yes. No. There is no guideline. Everyone has access to whatever they want and whatever they. It's an interdisciplinary program, which is why I selected it. I love the program, and so I incorporated. Well, obviously you saw the disconjointed media bits. So that was 3 layers. That was a media reference to a time of mine in my sister's life. Video VHS clips of me and my sister, and the actors playing Shiree and Matthew. And that was part of like the interdisciplinary. I wanted to do something on film, but then when my sister passed away, I was like, well, I started grad school with a different thesis in mind, and then everything shifted. So, no, but to answer your question, no, we can incorporate whatever we wanted. So everything that I did except for the lighting and the set was designed by Charles. And then Anthony helped with a lot of the editing, which he is a great editor. But yeah, I did all of the music editing. Yeah.
Fortunately, Matt, I'm pretty emotional about this. I'm Matt's stepfather, and I just want to say how proud I am of him. I've known Matt since he was a young man.
I love you.
You know,
Steve was at my first dance concert. I was 19 years old in Chicago. And I'll never forget this. It was a wonderful moment in my life because it's a hard career. Obviously, half this room knows what hard it is. But I was 19 and I was in Chicago, and I had been promoted from the apprentice into the company. And it wasn't because I was the best. It was because I had a passport. I knew all the rep. So it's good for me because I knew all the rep and had a passport. But anyway, I was promoted into the company, and so my mom and Steve came to the first show. It was at the Athenaeum, or it might have been on Northwestern. Anyway, it was in Chicago. I was 19 years old, and I'm dancing in this world-renowned concert dance company. You know, the next day we're flying to Europe for 6 months or whatever. And I'll never forget backstage, he was like, "I am so proud of you. This is so much bigger than Zetta's dance school." You know, like. He's like, "This is a real thing," and then they've been to everything since, you know. So, and my dad and Louise as well. Yeah, Helen, and then I see you. Yeah.
I'm also very, very proud of you. We have gone through a lot in our family, and I think it's really awesome that you did this. And it was just like so worked up, and it was really good, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Kellen. That's Shiree's daughter. You can have the actors that need to. Angela, Jason, Anthony, yeah, Bevan.
I'm just curious,
I never, I mean, you've read my books, so like I never don't tell the truth. I never don't say what I feel. So no, but it was really just important. I mean, I love my parents, all four of them. I wouldn't be here. You know, I'm not naive to the idea that like there's no manual. And that's what I discovered with my sister was all the things that she thought that my mom and dad did wrong, she tried to fix the wrong way, in my opinion. Sorry, Colin. And so, like, she overcorrected, you know, which happens. And so then it's like, now we see how that worked, you know. So, no, I just kind of wrote it through the lens of Shiree only because that's what I needed to do. She was my best friend. I talked to her more than once a day. There was one time in our life where we didn't speak for like 2 months, and it was the hardest time in my life. And as you see, she shaped my childhood. Everything was shaped by how she thought of me. And that's when I was reading about sibling loss, the thing is that most kids, if you're a single child or if you're like more than 7 years apart in siblingness, you mirror after one of your mom or your dad. Siblings mirror off each other. When that mirror is gone, there are two options, and neither of them are fun options. You know what I mean? So so I just really wanted to make right what I didn't do while she was still alive. And I hope I did. I think I did. My dad and mom said I did, and they both got to read the script before I did this, because that was also important. Like, this is gonna live hopefully somewhere forever, and I didn't want them to, either of them to think that I didn't care about how they felt about this, but also I knew that this was what I had to do.
Is it true to your family that you guys can be so honest with
Well, we don't have a choice.
one another?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
And thank you for sharing this with all of us.
Thank you.
Throughout the writing process, I've talked a lot about slowing down and waiting for the meaning and message to occur to you instead of creating it. And from what it sounds like, this is my perspective, one of your greatest takeaways is seeing your sister's point of view.
Yeah.
You might not have the answer to this,
Okay.
but I'm wondering what's been the most valuable lesson or aha moment or experience from your sister's point of view.
Well, you know, I get it with Anthony as well. When Anthony came along, and my sister and Anthony never got to meet in person, but they FaceTimed. And the thing that I told her is the same thing that I probably shared with Anthony, is that there are very few people that can talk me off the cliff when I'm ready to be, like, throw myself off the cliff. Shiree was one of, I can't think, Matthew maybe, and Tracy, who was here last night. Very few. And when I met Anthony, but my sister was that person. And so there is one thing that I took away from this. I'm not going to share it because it's really private, but yes, I got what I needed from this, and I'm reminded of it now. And it hits me when I'm doing it, and I'm like, oh, like every time I'm doing it. And I do it a lot.
I want to applaud Anthony because he played you so well. He does talk you off a cliff.
Yes,
So
yes,
kudos,
thank you.
Anthony.
Yes, yeah.
How did you pick Angela out? I understand Anthony, but because she nailed it, by the way, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
I love to do it.
I'd seen Angela here in, what was it, Beach People maybe? Yeah, I'd seen her, and Anthony and I were talking, and I was like, it's going to be really hard to find someone to play my sister because my neighbors can attest. They knew her at my swimming pool, my old swimming pool. She had a boisterous, huge personality, but then she could be like super compassionate, and she was full of empathy, but also would not be afraid to put you in your place and not give a shit what you thought about it, and like ever. And so it was going to be really hard. And I watched Angela play Beach People here, and it's a great play, and she did a great job in it. And I thought, okay, because it needed to be an actor who could find every range and look well. You know what? Honestly, I wasn't really concerned that Anthony or that Matthew and Shiree looked the part, because the whole point is that I want this to be a play that anyone could do. But they looked like they could be related, and it felt like, and they already have a great rapport, so it just kind of naturally just fell into place. I think I asked her right after I saw that performance.
Oh, did you? I can't remember.
Yeah, I saw her do the performance, and I was like, hey, will you play my sister? And then Jason, and that's hard. It's so hard. And I gave them like a few VHS, I gave them some like origin things, you know, that they could, like a touchstone, but it's hard when someone's not here to like shape that person and to know that half the family is going to be in the audience. Is an expectation. And then Jason was doing Anthony's play, Somebody Somewhere, and he played both parts on different nights, and I was like, because you need an actor who can play like, be believable as a station manager and then play all these different characters that like matter. And I thought he's perfect.
The nail file was perfect.
I know!
That's what he said.
You nailed it. Literally. Yes.
So the nail file thing, what the heck was with the gun?
Well, it's my dad. He's a gun collector. Okay, we have some Prosecco and some cheese so you don't have to drive drunk. Thank you all for coming. And I also do want to say one last time to Frederic and Charles and City Garage, if you don't support small theater, it goes away. That's just how it works. So thank you, but don't just let this be the one time. Come back and keep coming back. And keep coming back, and keep coming back, because this is community. This is what we need.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Okay, yes, see you tomorrow. Be careful.
Oh, you're
But I like it.